Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
But who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Today we're reacting to Afroman. Remember, he did that song, Because I Got High, which I love. I see that on like memes, reels from time to time. But we're reacting to Will You Help Repair My Door? Oh, before we get to that, actually, we are sponsored by eSign.com. eSign.com. Let's say you're out on tour because you have a new hit single called Will You Help Repair My Door? Because the cops searched your house. And now you're blowing up because now you're even more famous because you got this video that you're promoting but you gotta sign an agreement with your lawyers because now you're getting sued because the cops don't like you. But you need to sign a retainer agreement, but you're out and about. So what do? You get an eSign.com retainer, and you can do it remotely. I use it all the time when I have a retainer agreement with a client who can't make it into the office. So we just do eSign.com. You get 3 free signatures a month. You download the app, and it's an effective way to remotely do business. Now let's talk about Afroman. Joseph Edgar Foreman, a.k.a. Afroman, he had his house searched by police in Ohio. They executed a search warrant, and they were looking for evidence of drug trafficking, basically marijuana, and drug paraphernalia, and also evidence of kidnapping. And he wasn't home at the time, but his wife was. And his wife recorded some of it, and he also had cameras up in his house that also recorded part of the search. Now, this is the thing that I think is just absolutely fun and genius. He created a music video based upon some of this. And now these 7 officers are suing him for some claims. We'll talk about the claims, but let's kind of watch the video. We'll react to the video, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the complaint and what's valid and what's not. Some of the stuff is pretty funny. Will you help repair my door? So that's the surveillance. That's the cops coming into his house, I assume. They're executing a search warrant, and they always come in with their vests on and guns out. Now, so far at the beginning of this, there isn't any. You don't see any faces.
Will you help me repair my gate? Will you help me repair my door?
Now, when cops, they don't announce, generally speaking. They can announce, there's 2 types of warrants, actually. So you can have a daytime warrant where they have to tell you or you can have a no-knock warrant. And you can have a warrant, that is restrictive in terms of time, or you can have, a nighttime warrant. And in this case, it looks like a no-knock warrant, and they just bash the door down.
Looking for, will you help me repair my gate and door?
And my understanding is they didn't find anything.
Would you like a slice of lemon pound cake?
Okay, now look at this officer. He's got his gun out, and you can tell by the protrusion of his vest that he probably could go for some lemon pound cake. He probably just had a whole piece himself. See the lemon pound cake under the glass. It looks like a nice house. It looks like, he's got some lemon pound cake, and this cop is really eyeing that lemon pound cake.
You wanna take? There must be a big mistake. Would you like to have a slice of my lemon pound cake? The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping.
So in order to get a warrant signed by a judge, you have to have probable cause. And basically what happens is a cop writes up an affidavit, and then they bring it into a judge, and the judge signs it. Now, it can't be stale. It has to, and there has to be a nexus between what is being searched and the items searched. So they have to have some credible statement from some witness saying that somebody is being kidnapped and that there are drugs there. And generally they do this by informants, and it can be a confidential, reliable informant, which means they've snitched in the past and they've proved their reliability. Or it can be just a confidential informant, or it can be a confidential arrested informant. In the latter two, they have to have something to corroborate what they're saying. You can't just go by their word alone.
Are you kidding? I make my money rapping. Why does the warrant say narcotics? Well, I know narcotics, but why kidnapping?
I know.
Let me ask you something, officer. Any kidnapping victims inside my suit pockets? Are there?
So one of the other things that cops do is they rip apart everything, and they love doing that. They love it's them versus us sometimes, and some cops just have a contempt for anybody that comes in their path, and they feel like they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Any kidnapping victims inside my suit pockets?
Look at that collection of clothes. Looks pretty nice.
You crooked cops need to stop it. There are no kidnapping victims in my suit pockets. Let me ask you another question. Is there 1,000 pounds of weed in my suit pockets?
See, they're going through each, depending upon what I haven't seen the affidavit, but depending upon what it says, if they come across something else, there's something called plain view. So if something's in plain view, or if they search and they find something other than what the search warrant states, it doesn't mean that it's invalid.
Is there 1,000 pounds of weed in my suit pockets? You crooked cops need to stop it.
One thing I will give Afroman is that he's very neat. I mean, look, all his suits are neatly organized. His shoes are nice and neatly organized. The living room is in order.
Any kidnapping victims inside my CD? The Adams County Sheriff Department, you can get these. There are no kidnapping victims in my CDs.
I don't think there's any kidnapping victims in his CDs.
How many pounds of weed are inside my CDs?
I'm loving
pounds
this.
Of weed are...
Here's the thing. If you feel like you are being victimized by a cop, this is great revenge. This is a great redress. Let's call it redress, not revenge.
Why are you stealing my money? Why are you stealing my money?
So one of the things that they love to get cash. They love, because guess where it goes? It goes to the sheriff's department or law enforcement, and then they can buy equipment with it. Here in Minnesota, we had a gang strike force a while back that was disbanded because they stole well over $1 million. I think it was like $3 million. They were just taking money and then not saying anything about it, not charging somebody, and it was really corrupt.
You represent the law, and it's funny. You're stealing my legal work hard every day. Pay taxes, money. The sheriff disconnected my cameras.
Why would they do that?
The sheriff disconnected my cameras. The sheriff should be locked up in slammers. The Adams County Sheriff Department disconnected my cameras. Did you have to traumatize my kids?
That is another byproduct of a felony warrant or search warrant, because, I mean, imagine being there at night sleeping, and all of a sudden your kids are there, and then bashing down the door like that, and guns ablazing. You've got, and how many guys did they have executing this warrant? They've got at least 7.
Will you pay me for doing me wrong? Will you pay me for doing me wrong? Will you pay me for doing me wrong?
When you have constitutional violations, you can sue the cops to get redress. Individually, they are likely to have some qualified immunity, especially if they have a warrant signed by a judge.
Or will I have to get paid from this song?
So that's Afroman's video for the most part. Now, one thing I didn't see any faces. You can't identify anybody that's in this video. So let's kind of look at the complaint. I love this complaint. This is hilarious. After the search was concluded, Foreman used portions of the recordings of the search from his wife's phone and surveillance cameras to create music videos about the search. These music clearly portray the images, likenesses, and distinctive appearances, personas of many of the officers in the search, including those of all plaintiffs. Now, if all we're dealing with is this video or videos kind of like this, none of them show, you can't identify any particular person. But then you've got posts like Instagram. So they're, here's what they're suing for: violations of Ohio Revised Code, Chapter 2741, unauthorized use of individuals' personas. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. And then the second count is invasion of privacy, misappropriation of somebody's image. And then count 3, invasion of privacy, false light publicity. And then count 4, unreasonable publicity. And count 5, is what they're looking for. And they want $25,000 at least a piece. But let's talk about the main count. The main count is using an individual's persona for commercial purpose without authorization. There is an exception. So, like, let's say there's a news article or, some recounting something. So, for the purposes of this subsection, this is the Ohio statute. The use of an aspect of an individual's persona in connection with any news, public affairs, sports broadcast, or account, and this would be an account, does not constitute a use for which consent is required. Otherwise, you need to get somebody's consent. But you know what? Nobody's persona is identified. And one of the things they're saying is they had lost their reputation. They've invaded my privacy. It's just bullshit. These cops are just suing him because they are pissed off that he has turned the tables, so to speak. I think it's kind of hilarious, actually. But I think this is hilarious because, the name of the, he calls I think the album is Lemon Pound Cake, or he just really, because remember, you see that officer standing in front of the lemon pound cake. And so he posted on Instagram, and this is one of the things they're complaining about, with an image of plaintiff Sean Cooley beside an image of Peter Griffin, Family Guy. And the caption says, "Good morning, ladies. What up, fellas? Congratulations to police officer Pound Cake. Thank you for getting 5.4 million hits on TikTok. I couldn't have done it without you. Congratulations again. You're famous for all the wrong reasons. As you can see, all my pound cake is gone. Officer Pound Cake confiscated my pound cake. He said something happened to his body camera on the way to the evidence report." I mean, these are just hilarious. So, and then there's a bunch of images that he posted on Instagram. But if the things that he's posted don't really contain their faces, like the video, they have got no case. But here's the other thing. I don't think they have a case anyway. And why don't they have a case? Because this is not the kind of thing that is compensable. I mean, he's recounting what actually happened. you know, with his own narration. So this video, it's an account of an executed search warrant. So just like, you know, the news media, they make money off this stuff, right? And so if they had this video, which they have, and you've seen this actually on the news, they don't have to get the officer's consent to play this. And so it's really a public document, essentially, is what it is. And so to that end, they've got no shot, zero shot. And I'd be surprised if this didn't get thrown out on summary judgment from Afroman's lawyer. So this has just been our reaction to Afroman. Afroman, if you're watching, keep it up. We love what you do. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.
23-hour lockdown, police is at my call.